and then Moncada goes down with that one. I think that's sad. I think his days, like this is his final year as a White Sox. It probably was either way, but like that's devastating for a guy like that who needed to have a big year because I don't think his market was going to be all that big in free agency anyway. And now you have that. That sucks for him.
I remember bringing up before Tuesday's game, and I think Grifol talked about it in their pregame with the media, how Moncada was playing through pain. I put in the chat. I was being a little sarcastic, but it was like, hey, because Moncada's been clowned for years. Like, oh, this guy's soft, made of glass. He doesn't any little thing. He's not going to play. I think last year he played through some stuff, but obviously missed a lot of time. This year, Grifol said he was dealing with the hip groin, and then he gets hurt. 3 hours later, It's like, fuck.
I'm glad you brought that up, though, because I wonder, and this was a big argument with the Eloy injury, and I was very frustrated when it happened, too, because with Eloy, it's like it's all happening just running to first base. It's like very stupid stuff. And so he gets that label, and fans are frustrated, people calling him the biggest disappointment in Chicago sports history. And, knee-jerk, I was right there with them. It's like, what's this guy doing where he can't stay healthy? But it's not like he wants to get hurt. He wants to be on the field. He's not trying to. His body is just failing him. So, in my opinion on that kind of changed, like seeing Moncada try and play, because I wonder, too, how much went into it because he had that label where he's getting clowned on for being injury prone, where he wanted to gut through something that he probably should have been playing through. And that helped, that was part of this injury. Because it was the same thing. You see Eloy, all the flack that he got. Moncada's got the history of being injury prone. Fans call him glass boy and whatnot. And so, all right, I'm going to show him. I'm going to try and play through this. And then it ended up making it worse. So I wonder how much of that factored into it. And, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think after the Eloy injury and then a little bit with Luis Robert Jr. after him, a lot of the discussion was like, well, who is to blame, right? And like you said, players aren't out there. They're not looking to get hurt. They don't want to get hurt. Obviously not, right? But when you see the pattern year after year, is it the White Sox training staff? I know I've seen some pushback. No, they hired a new head guy, but they still have guys in place, but it's the same players. It's the same type of injuries. I know last year when all the leaks started coming out from the clubhouse, I think both guys, Eloy and Yoan, were labeled as guys who don't really work out pregame or don't do the work. So that's kind of a tough look. But it's a very uncomfortable, at least for outside looking in, that conversation of well, it's those guys' fault for getting hurt.
Well,
but you want to push against it, but then at the same time, I can kind of see it's well, are they putting in the right work? I don't know.
And I think it's a fair criticism for Eloy just because we keep seeing the same type of injury. And I hate blaming guys because a lot of them are freakish and, it is a fluke. But they just hired a new training staff, like you said. That training staff is also responsible for 25 other guys. They cannot be babysitting Eloy Jimenez and these guys that are injury prone the whole way through. Jesse Rogers came out with that report saying, hey, Eloy, not really the hardest worker. You watch him pregame, doesn't look like he necessarily goes through the same stretching routine. Frank Thomas brought up the point, too, that as a DH, without playing in the field, Eloy, it doesn't look like he knows how to stay loose. And when you're the size of Eloy, you have to find ways to keep yourself loose. Otherwise, you get in the box, you do these explosive movements. It's easier for you to. So, you got to take care of your body. I think you see, look at LeBron James, for example. He spends $1 million a year on his body. And now that's unrealistic. But, he takes care of himself. That's why he's hardly ever hurt. And he's still playing at a high level at 38. A lot of it kind of goes in for these guys. It's you got to be taking care of your body during the offseason. Now, the counterpoint is Luis Robert. He's ripped. He's in really good shape. He's getting hurt too. So who knows? I don't think you can blame the training staff, though. And I do think a lot of it, especially with Eloy, because it's the same type of injury we keep seeing. It's a pattern. At some point, you got to be doing something to address it during the offseason. And I hate ripping guys for injuries. It sounds unfair, but I think a little bit of blame kind of has to go on these. It has to go on the plate.
Rebuild of the favorites. We here for the latest. South side or the north side. Not tuned to the greatest. Home team for the home teams. Both sides got our own rings. On the mound or the long ball. But we don't put the wrong strings. Yeah. It's that time of the year now. Wrigley or guarantees for the whole league that we hear now. New show with a new mood. Discussions and interviews. Trade rumors that might be. This is Pinwheels and Ivy.